Here we go. All right. Episode 3 of the Backyard Phenomena.
Backyard Phenomena.
Backyard Phenomena. I just say, I don't know why this episode Phenomena, I think I just said. Anyways,
yeah.
So here we go. Episode 3, Backyard Phenomena. Thank you all for tuning in and showing up and looking at us for another hour and listening to us. If that's your preferred method.
Yeah, just listen. You don't need to see us. Just listen.
We prefer you don't look at us, actually, is what it really boils down to. But, yeah, so here we go. You want to get into some headlines already?
Yeah, let's get into some headlines before.
We got any other news before we get there?
I don't have any news. You cut out
I don't
there.
But
that's okay.
Yeah, I told you it probably would. There I am.
Yeah, you're good.
I think I'm back. Okay. You ready for this headline?
I'm ready.
The headlines of the week. This shouldn't mess with anything. Here we go. Missouri time traveler missing after 1997 radio show. You ready for this?
Okay, all right. I'm glad there's more to that because.
Okay, this was a little bit ago. This was last year, like 8 months ago, but it was a good headline, so I took it. Stanberry, Missouri. That's where this is going on. Some urban legends are simply extraordinary. A caller from Missouri to the nationally syndicated paranormal late night radio program Coast to Coast claimed in 1995 to have invented a time machine. Then he disappeared.
No. Are you serious?
There we go.
Oh, that's
Mike,
just crazy.
Okay, you ready? The guy's name, Mike Madman Markham, talked about his experience with industrial power transformers and his attempt to build a time machine with the host on the Coast to Coast radio show. He explained that he took 6 transformers to that he took 6 transformers to power a time machine. They belonged to the St. Joseph Light and Power Generating Station. Apparently, he stole the transformers from the power company in 1995. A report from Stanberry Police Department confirms that he did steal 6 transformers. The police report states that there were power transformers placed in different parts of his home, the bedroom at the back, and 4 of varying sizes. I'm reading that wrong. But anyways, the back porch had one connected to the electric fuse box, and there were lines leading to something resembling a TV antenna. Anyways, so he's building a time machine. He claims that he threw a screw through the time machine.
Okay.
And that when he threw it through the time machine, it disappeared. Okay. And then reappeared about 6 feet away from the time machine. The time machine.
Yeah, like minutes later or days later?
Just like seconds later, I think. It was just like he threw it in and then it just disappeared and then, reappeared, later on.
So it's more like a teleportation device, not a time machine.
Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
He got arrested. He got arrested for stealing the time or stealing the transformers,
which makes sense.
And was like on, he was on like probation for a long time. But after his probation, he called back in and said he was going to do it again. But this time, he was going through the time machine.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So during his second appearance on the show in 1996, he stated that he was 30 days away from finishing his legal time machine because apparently he built a generator instead of hooking it up to the straight from the the power in his home.
Yeah.
So because apparently he like blew like everybody's lights out after he tried the first time.
This is like a ridiculous movie.
And this time he wasn't going to steal any material. However, he suddenly disappeared. In 1997, he was never heard from again. The Missouri Highway Patrol has not listed Markham as a active missing person, but that hasn't stopped conspiracy theorists from coming up with their own theories. So he's disappeared. He's gone.
He just ran away somewhere.
Maybe. I listened to the show. I found the show and listened to it. You know,
was it weird?
He's a very weird guy. He sounds just like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead, and looks a lot like him too. There's a picture of his mugshot on this. I'll send you the article so you can get his mugshot. And and you was like, yeah, this is exactly what this guy would look like. Is what you're gonna say when you see it.
So he probably just like vaporized himself, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or he was worried that he was going to get stuck in time somewhere, after he left. And maybe that's what happened.
So he's like in Civil War time or something.
Right, maybe. So that is headline number 1.
Oh. We
number
got another.
2.
All right.
Let me get this one pulled up. Aliens. This is from the New York Post. The last one was from Fox. Aliens might be living among us disguised as humans, or in a base inside the moon, according to new Harvard study. This is coming from Harvard.
Hold on. What'd you say about the moon? Like they
may or in a base inside the moon.
Okay. But Harvard did this study?
This is a Harvard study.
Oh, my goodness.
Sure enough.
Okay.
New paper suggests that extraterrestrials could also be living. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. Aliens might be living among us, according to a new Harvard study by Harvard academics. A new paper suggests extraterrestrials could also be living underground or in a base inside the moon. The study at Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program, whatever that is, further puts forward the idea that UFOs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, may be spaceships visiting the Earth-based alien friends. So the aliens are already here, and they're just coming to party. The ones, the spaceship. Researchers have investigated so-called crypto-terrestrials. You like that word? That's a good word.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. Crypto-terrestrials. Isn't that just Bigfoots? Yeah, these could be disguised. They could be disguising themselves as human to fit in. May have come from Earth's future, or may have descended from intelligent dinosaurs.
No, this just gets weirder.
Yeah. The study was created to offer an alternative, unconventional explanation for UAP sightings and no hypothesis of what they might mean. And to hypothesize what they might mean. And the possibility that UAP may involve forms of non-human intelligence that are already present in the Earth's environment in some sense, that exist alongside us in distinct stealth. So basically what they're saying is
invasion of the body snatchers.
Yeah, basically. So they're saying that, that what we're seeing is not people coming to Earth. These people have already been here, and the UFOs that we're seeing are just them coming to visit us. As an alternate study.
Yeah, I'm a little blown away by the dinosaur comment. And
the problem is it doesn't explain why there's dinosaurs in this article.
Other than they were looking for an unconventional explanation.
So I think what that means, I think what that really means is this article is just completely made up and has no bearing whatsoever on anything.
Here's just somebody's random idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's our headlines for the week. How about that?
Nice. Good headlines. Yeah. Wow. That that last headline flows into the story that I'm going to tell like really well. Really well.
Oh, great.
And
but besides that, the time machine guy, before we get into it.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good story. I think he's really gone.
Well, he's gone somewhere.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone for sure. I just think it's pretty.
And there's no way he can come back because, like, what if he's in a time period that doesn't have electricity yet?
Well, for one thing, he can't come back because his credibility is going to be completely gone after that. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, go for it. What's the story this week, Zach? What are we getting into?
Here's a story that is, what did they call the aliens? What was that name? Crypto something?
Cryptoterrestrials?
Cryptoterrestrials. Wow. That could not be more head of the nail for what I'm going to talk about.
Good. All right,
so, cool. This is, some might have heard of this. I had never heard of it. The Flatwoods monster. Have you heard of the Flatwoods monster?
What is this?
Okay. This is in West Virginia. Flatwoods. Why? Of course.
Well, because there's like a bunch of weird things in West Virginia.
It's in Flatwoods, West Virginia. And this creature that we're going to talk about, I would describe somewhat as a terrestrial. So it's kind of like cryptozoology and UFO stuff combined on this one.
Now we're talking. This is the stuff the show was built for.
So, and this one is a little bit kind of like Mothman, which...
Well, that's where he's from, right? West Virginia, Mothman?
Oh, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, that's why I said, of course.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe they're a wow up there, you know.
Like the aliens are?
With the Mothman. Created this guy.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think this was before Mothman. Do we know when Mothman was? Was Mothman in like...
I can't think right off the top of my head.
60s or something, maybe. I don't know.
Probably
maybe
somewhere in there. 70s,
at some point, we'll have to do a Mothman episode, maybe like a multi-part, because there was a lot that happened. It was like 2 or 3 days. But this one is like that. There's multiple accounts that happen over like a couple days.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So, but one main one, and that's what we'll start with. Okay. So, it was 1952. Okay, so let's just set our minds in that time period. Maybe the time traveler guy is back there at this point. Yeah,
maybe it's the time traveler guy. Just kidding.
After he got mutilated by the electricity. So it happened in September. If you like dates, September 12th, 1952.
Okay.
It was basically some boys that noticed it. 6 boys, a mom with a dog, and some kind of military guy. I think he was from the National Guard.
Interesting. Okay. These are all separate things?
No. This was the one account. This is the one account.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to note here that when I was reading this article, it mentioned this early on in the article, and I did not see it anywhere else in the article, but they put in quotes, one of the boys peed his pants. So thought everyone just might want to know that. So
the guy that's recording it, he's like, yeah, Jimmy peed. Make sure you put that in there. Jimmy peed his pants.
Jimmy peed his pants. That's the most important part.
They're like, okay, whatever, as long as we get the story.
So I don't know how big Flatwoods is now. I guess I should have looked that up. But
so that Flatwoods is a town, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Okay. It's a town. Gotcha. And it looks like at the time, it was less than 300 people. So very small little spot.
Just like most West Virginia towns and cities.
Right. Yeah. So, and they've got like, well, we'll get to some of this stuff. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let me get to my story here. So, okay. All the boys are playing at the elementary school. I don't think there was a playground, but they were like playing in the lawn, doing whatever boys do at that age. I think it said they were ages 10 to 17, ages 10 to 17. So that's kind of weird. Yeah. When I was 10, range. There was no way there were 17-year-olds that were hanging out with me.
Not would we be hanging out at the school ground. I don't know. Who knows? Back then, I guess you only had a few people.
This story's getting stranger and stranger already. So yeah, they're doing whatever you do when you hang out at an elementary school in a town with less than 300 people at night. Okay, so
they're at night at the school.
Yep.
Okay.
It said almost fully dark. So I guess it was pretty dark out.
Interesting.
And my computer's freezing up, so that's great.
Of course.
So what happens is they're there, they're hanging out. There's this crash that happens. I guess like a flaming crash in the distance into the woods, and they're like, as boys would do, they're like, let's go check it out and see what the heck it was. Just like Travis from the other story.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They just wanted to run straight after it for some reason.
I definitely would, I think. Especially if I was that age.
Yeah, maybe at that age. I wouldn't now, but yeah, maybe at that age. No, I wouldn't now. But, okay. All right. So, now, as they're going towards the crash site, they have to pass one of their houses. Okay. So, they grab the mom of that kid and the dog, and the mom grabs this guy named Eugene Lemon. And he's he's a National Guardsman. So it's like, I guess when there's trouble, you go ahead and call up Eugene Lemon.
I guess if you know somebody,
you
might as well.
Yeah. And the dog's name was Richie. So if you wanted to know that. So they get to the site of the crash, and there's this pulsing red light.
Oh, my goodness.
And so Lemon flashes the light, his flashlight, I guess, up the hill.
Okay.
And this is what they see. I'm gonna pull a quote here from the article. Okay. A 10-foot tall creature with a head shaped like a spade and what and what appeared to be a dark metal dress. Dress in quotes.
Interesting.
So I don't know why that's in quotes, but yeah. The creature's hands were twisted and clawed, and what seemed to be its eyes glowed an eerie orange color. Okay, here's where it even gets a little weirder.
This is definitely a crypto-terrestrial, if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, because get this. It appeared to levitate off the ground.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay,
yeah.
So, and there's like drawings of it that people have done. And it kind of looks like the top half is like some kind of weird alien creature, right? With like these long, spindly arms and fingers and stuff. But then from like, I guess the torso down, it's like some sort of a rocket thing.
Wow. Okay. So it's a machine.
Or like half machine, half creature, something. I don't know.
Right.
But it's levitating, and there it says there's a strange, sickening mist that came out.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And apparently that mist was like extremely smelly. Like they described it.
Wow.
Like a lot of people describe creatures. It's always a strong sulfur smell. That's I think how they described it.
Right.
And so the creature hissed at them and glided quickly towards them like a
oh my goodness, yeah,
kind of like you would imagine. And they all turned around. I imagine this is when Jimmy peed his pants. I don't know. And they fled in terror. So the weird thing was, for I guess days afterwards, several of them had throat irritation and vomiting and nausea.
Okay, so it affected them.
Yeah, it affected them for sure.
They inhaled something.
Yeah, and they didn't really like. Oh, and so. Sorry, my computer's acting crazy today. Sorry, anybody that's listening. I don't know what the heck it's doing, but it is acting crazy. So that was about it for them. They reported all this to the local authorities. There was a weird thing that I watched something about this, and there was a weird thing saying that they all kind of like died of cancer or something like that.
Well,
I mean, which...
Like,
maybe I didn't look that up. I didn't follow that up. I don't know if that's true
like
or
Agent
not.
Orange or something,
Yeah, it could be something kind of like that. Okay, but here we go.
Okay.
A day or so earlier.
Oh.
Okay. There was a woman named Audra Harper. And she was leaving town, going to her house or her farm, I guess it was. No, just her home. And she decided to take a shortcut through the woods. And as I guess you do in a small West Virginia place, she also saw a ball of fire on the hills. So it said it was a few days before, but maybe it was the same day. I don't know.
Right.
She dismissed it, though, assuming it was one of her neighbors that was fox chasing.
With balls of fire?
I don't know. I guess you just get out your flamethrower and just go for it.
I don't know why these stories have these people that just dismiss stuff like this. Like, if you've seen a ball of fire, that must be the fox hunters throwing balls of fire.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
But yeah, she says, let's see. Fire vanished, and in its place stood the tall, dark silhouette of a man-shaped figure.
Okay.
And she ran away.
Yep.
So
I would.
Yeah, there was that one. But this next one is a little bit more of a crazy close encounter. Maybe not as crazy as the kids one. I don't know. Maybe creepier though. Okay. So the day after the incident with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a guy and his wife, George and Edith Snitowski.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
In West Virginia?
Yeah.
There's
Snitowski.
Snitowskis in West Virginia?
That's what it says. George and Edith Snitowski. Yeah. And their 18-month-old son. So they're driving their car. Remember, it's the 50s, so you got that kind of like, who knows? They probably didn't have a brand new car, right? So it was probably like a really old car at that point, like from the 40s or maybe 30s. I don't know.
Yeah, probably so.
So they're driving down the road. It's lots of woods around and everything like that. The car, stops running. They're on the side of the road.
Okay.
So Mr. Snitkowski, George, he gets out. He's trying to get the car started. He can't get it started. He notices a foul, sulfurous smell.
Just like the last time.
And the baby is crying, and then suddenly a strange bright light filled the darkness, and the couple witnessed, again, a 10-foot tall creature hovering again in front of the car. So I don't know what's up with the hovering, but it's his main mode of transportation. Okay.
Wow.
So this time, though, the monster was not wearing its spade-shaped hood.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I guess they determined at some point that it was some kind of hood thing that it was wearing.
Gotcha.
Now it's
sort
not.
of sounds like Darth Vader or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Like Darth Vader, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's not wearing that. Instead, his head was reportedly reptilian and bony.
Oh, reptilians. Here we go.
Yep.
Here we go.
So this has like all of it wrapped into one. Yeah.
And this is like the start of all of the crypto
I know.
stories.
Maybe it all just
the birthplace.
Spawned off this. So the creature's there in front of the car. They're freaking out. The baby's crying, right? And then the creature drags its lizard-like hand across the hood of the car.
Oh my gosh.
Before drifting away into the woods.
Wonder why it would do that. Just to scare him? Be creepy?
Yeah, I guess just to be creepy. But as soon as as soon as the monster was gone, boom, car is able to start.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like a movie.
So, yeah.
And, they sped away. And then 3 years later, Snitowski later gave his account to the Mail magazine in July of 1955. So
so that's where this account came from.
Yeah,
I guess originally.
Yeah, and so that's what happened. This is the lizard Flatwoods monster alien crypto terrestrial. Yeah. Of 1952. It never happened again. But
so it's just like 3 accounts.
3 accounts all happened right there. I guess. And I mean now
apparently like the same town.
Yeah, it's all the same place. Yeah. All the same place.
I guess that's right. That's right because that's his name.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, and so they've got like a whole museum there now for it, and they've got little drawings of it. He looks odd.
Does it look like Darth Vader?
Looks kind of like a no. Looks kind of like a Puritan woman.
Oh, really?
But with like the clothes, because of the weird rocket.
These were metal clothes, right?
Yeah, metal clothes, and the weird spade hat thing, and then the creepy long spindly arms. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are there's probably some kind of I don't know, the 50s.
I mean, we're right at the heart of sci-fi. Sci-fi's really taken off at this point.
Was sci-fi taking off in West Virginia? I imagine as far as pop culture and stuff, they were probably behind a little bit, right? I mean, yeah. They could pick up radio channels though, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, AM was basically the only mode of listening to stuff, and you can pick up AM stations from really far away. So they probably were picking up all the major, stuff at the time.
What about this? And I know this is kind of a go-to excuse for these kind of things, but just came out of World War II.
Yep.
We're now into this nuclear kind of scare thing going on with Russia and all this stuff, right?
Right.
maybe some kind of weird experiment or something happened. I mean, it would be pretty normal for the government to not think it's weird to do something like that to a very small,
the government
population.
was doing a lot of crazy experiments.
Yeah.
During this time.
Right.
Especially in the Cold War era.
Yeah.
And maybe they were testing like some kind of flying suit or something, And that was,
and maybe the flying suit like caught fire and like the poor guy in it was like trying to get help. He had like a helmet thing on. He couldn't talk, and he's like just flying towards them for help and they're running away scared.
Well, the thing is, you do always have to keep in the back of your mind that it was probably an easier explanation to say it's an alien or a Bigfoot or whatever.
Yeah.
Than it would be to risk the Russians getting any idea of what you're making,
So you're saying the government could have
said, if you get caught or somebody sees you, act all weird and creepy so they, it will just, throw them off.
Maybe. I don't know. That's interesting.
But you don't think they would do stuff like that?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That one doesn't. 1952.
They've been known to, throw in bits of false information into true situations, so it seems unreal,
Yeah. Well, and maybe what they did too was, don't people say that they've been creating like or funding movies and stuff to make us believe that it's like Hollywood, but really it's it's
sure.
real or something like that.
Right. Yeah,
so could that be what it is?
That's very possible. They were funding all kinds of stuff. This was like right at the beginning of the drug, what's the word? What are those movies called? Propaganda films or whatever,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the Red Scare films and all that stuff coming out. So, heck yeah, any of that's possible,
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Why couldn't it be an alien? Why couldn't it be? It sounds more like an alien to me than it does, like a crypto creature.
And it was crash landed and it was like injured or
back.
something. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
But it also just sort of sounds like a spacesuit at the same time, or maybe like an early, prototype of a spacesuit.
Yeah, but do we have anything like that now? Like any kind of hovering technology?
There's definitely jetpacks.
There are jetpacks?
They're for certain jetpacks, yes.
No.
Really? Yes, for certain. Look it up. Yes, for certain.
Jetpacks.
I promise you, they were like landing them at like football games and NASCAR events, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Whoa.
Like showing their force, like the flyovers and stuff. Yeah, for real.
I gotta get me one of those.
But I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
That's the Flatwoods monster. I know. I guess it was a shorter story than I thought it was going to be, but yeah.
Well, that's cool. So.
That's all we got today. No, we really need people to email in with their stories.
We're struggling here, guys. 3 episodes in.
Well, I did think the story was going to be longer, but I guess they're just, I guess that's just all there was to it. You know, something visited these people in West Virginia.
It's just weird that like the Mothman seemed to have like a lot of accounts, you know.
Oh, a lot. And,
like a ton of accounts. And this one, I guess, was like 3 accounts of the same thing. That's what really makes me consider like this was some sort of government.
Well, yeah, but there's less than 300 people living there.
Right.
I mean, 3 accounts, that's pretty high numbers for...
I'm just saying, like, they just tested it and they got it and it was done. They got the information they wanted from it.
I didn't think about this, though. So West Virginia was where Mothman was?
Yes. Pleasant something.
So, yeah, there had to have been some government stuff going on.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, to.
West Virginia is the only state that's completely, like the whole state's in the Appalachian Mountains. You know, that's the only state that's completely in the Appalachian Mountains. You know, there was a lot of stuff going on, you know, in Appalachia, in the mountains that was, you know, secretive.
Yeah.
A lot of weird, like, testing on hillbillies and stuff. Like,
right, because, yeah, anytime you can do stuff like that where, like, nobody's... You know, nobody's going to say anything, and who would believe them, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, this is, you know, I'm leaning into the stereotype here of mountain people, but, you know, it's typically the stereotype is of lower IQ and not as intelligent as, so, you know, maybe they were sort of banking on that. If we could do some testing over here, then nobody's going to believe these people anyways if they see it.
Right,
you know?
Yeah, they weren't worried if an experiment went wrong and they accidentally sprayed some kind of toxic gas out. And the thing is, you would think that they would go back, though, and talk to the people.
That's interesting, though. You're talking about the toxic gas because, you know, that was that was really used a lot later in, like, Korea and Vietnam.
Well, that's right when Korea would have been happening, right?
Right.
Wasn't it in the 50s?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, right there, early 50s. So that's interesting. Maybe they were testing it out on a small population.
Yeah, they said in the article that the symptoms that the boys had were very similar to mustard gas.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess mustard gas had been around for a long time, but...
Well, yeah, that was definitely more heavily used in World War I.
Right.
You know, mustard gas was. And it's still like, you know, you got to be careful when you're buying stuff like World War I memorabilia, like gas masks and stuff. Like, it can still be active. So, like, don't put World War I gas masks on, or you could still breathe in mustard gas. And
really?
Yeah. There was a reenactor that I knew that I didn't know, but I heard through the grapevines that he did that, was going to wear it at a reenactment, a World War I reenactment, and had to end up going to the ER because he breathed in real mustard gas. So
that's wild.
Yeah. So
where are they doing that though? Where are they doing World War I reenactments?
Oh, it's getting really popular. World War II is the Civil War reenactments are sort of not as prominent anymore.
Okay.
But World War II and World War I reenactments are really sort of taking over the.
How in the world do they do those though? Because the Civil War ones are just like in a field, but like to do either one of those, you're like doing some crazy like digging trenches and stuff like that, right?
That's what they do. Yeah, like it's then you know they sort of adapt to it, but I've seen a couple of them.
Are they cool?
Participated. It's pretty cool because they got machine guns and stuff, you know.
Huh.
So those are kind of neat, you know, more fun to listen to.
And like mortar launchers and stuff.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. What about planes though? Do they bring in planes?
Well, some of the bigger events definitely do.
They just have them like fly over and like shoot planks or something.
Like drop these like smoke bomb things. You know,
that does sound kind of fun.
It is pretty cool, but you know, it's a lot more expensive to get into than it would be Civil War reenacting. You know?
Yeah,
because you got to buy like machine guns that have been, you know, only able to fire blanks and stuff like that. You know,
right? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But
you could just be like a guy that lost his gun
and just run out.
And he's just got a knife and he's just crawling, the whole time. Nobody's even paying attention. You get all the way over to the.
And then you just.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
They're
pretty cool.
So, the Flatwoods monster.
That's a pretty. Well, I'm just shocked this hasn't been more talked about. I've never heard this before.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Was it? Where did you? Was it in the book?
No, actually, it might be. I didn't look. This one was just fell into my lap. I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just scanning through stuff to watch, and I found this like History Channel.
Oh, cool.
Kind of like their Bigfoot one, but it was kind of like a Mysteries in the Deep or something. I can't remember what
cool. So it was on that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and it was they had it dramatized, all the stories
cool.
and everything.
Yeah.
And they had a really bad digital version of it that would like pop up into the screen, and it was
right.
It was the same digital one, and they just used it in every single like thing. It was like, oh, there it is again, doing the same motions it did before,
Oh, that's
so
funny.
it was pretty good. And so then I looked it up and found a couple articles on it. But yeah,
it just seems I've never heard that before.
I hadn't either.
Ever.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
That's weird. Like it sounds like a really good movie. That somebody could make.
Well, maybe not. I mean, we weren't able to get much of a story. I think we got more of a story out of the time traveler than we did.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we had more questions about that one.
I know. That one's more of a movie. Like he just gets, or it'd be like a good comedy. He gets transported and he lands in like.
I'm dead serious.
In America, but in America in like 1200 or something. Yeah. And he's just surrounded by.
Did you ever watch the X-Files?
No, I didn't ever.
Okay.
I know I need to, but I didn't get around to it.
I'm pretty sure that one of the guys that's in that show, one of the guys that helps the X-File, detective team. If you haven't seen it, then it wouldn't make sense. But
I mean, I know of it. I just
yeah. But one of the guys in the show, I'm pretty sure, is based off this guy because he looks just like him. And this guy, and I'm not kidding, it sounds just like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead.
but you said it was like what was it, 96 or something? When were they making the X-Files? Was it earlier than that? Or was it around that same time?
Well, it was around the same time.
Okay, so the writers were listening to that Coast to Coast show.
Oh, I guarantee you they got all of their information from this show.
Okay.
This is where the show came from. I bet anything.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so are you Mulder or Scully?
Mulder for sure.
And Mulder is the believer?
Yeah.
And Scully is the skeptic.
The skeptic. Yeah, because what gets me about Scully is here she is, who's witnessed a million different, phenomena, if we're going to use the word here, literally seen spaceships land on the ground and, abduct people and seen people turn into, werewolves and everything. And she's still like, but this could be the disease, werewolfitis, and Mulder's just like, are you crazy? Like, you just seen a werewolf. It just slapped you in the face, and you still don't believe. But then again, what's the point of the show?
Right.
If you got two believers,
Right.
But still, that's for the tension, I guess, is why you keep watching it, Yeah. Because you want to see her, finally
right
turn the corner.
You know what?
Definitely Mulder.
You know what we need?
What's that?
At the end of every episode, we need to do like a movie or TV show review.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of something that like is like Alien or Bigfoot related or something like that. Yeah. I watched a couple Bigfoot movies like a couple months ago, and I'm just dying to talk about them. So at some point, I got to talk about them because they're just nobody else has watched them. I don't have anyone to talk to about them.
We need to make sure we talk about the movies that related to show topic.
Right,
ideas,
exactly. Like we could have talked. What was that one you watched? Did we already talk about
Fire in the Sky? We talked about it a little bit on the show, and you still need to watch that if you haven't watched it. Man, that's a good one.
Yeah,
but
I need to watch it.
Yeah, but that'd be good. That'd be good. We'll do that next time for sure.
Yeah,
I think we should. You do that. You're the movie guy.
Well, I guess I have to know what the topic is going to be, though.
Well, I'm not saying do it on the same topic as the show, but I'm saying
you could say like,
topic.
This is going to be about aliens. So
I'm just saying you don't have to even do it on the same topic we're talking about. Just a topic related to our show is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
It could be. It could be aliens.
So we can talk about the Sasquatch movie.
What's it called?
2 of them. Well, I can't say what it's called yet unless we're going to talk about it.
We'll just talk about it next week at the end of the show.
Yeah. So I'll just keep it.
Okay. All right. Keep it under wraps.
Unless you're going to watch them.
Are they free?
Yes. I think they were on Tubi.
Oh, if they're on Tubi, yeah, I can watch them.
All right.
Tubi's where it's at.
Yeah.
Tubi's got the movies.
Tubi's got the movies for these topics.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the movies I like to watch.
They've got all of the B horror,
that's
alien
that's
stuff.
The channel. That's the app or whatever for that stuff.
It is. It really is. They've got tons of it.
Listeners and watchers, if you're not on Tubi, you're missing out.
Yeah, and it's free.
You got to download Tubi. Yeah, it's completely free, and it must be really pretty easy to get a movie on there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
There's a lot of low budget movies that are on there.
We could probably put a podcast episode up on there and call it a movie.
I bet you're right. We should look into that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But oh man, that's
But yeah, we can talk about it.
Tubi.
We can talk about it next time.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a movie segment.
Yeah, we'll do a movie segment.
Or TV show, I guess.
Yeah, or maybe it's like a specific episode or something.
Right.
Something like X-Files or something. If you're like, I watched this or
you would love X-Files, man. You need to watch X-Files.
I know. I just there were the 2 shows at the same time that everybody told me to watch, and I didn't watch either of them, and that was that. Which one? And it was Buffy. And,
Buffy's not nearly as good as
and X-Files. Then a year ago, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to watch one of them. And so I decided to start Buffy. And
oh my gosh.
It just seemed so cool. It was like cheerleader, like slaying vampires. It seemed like a really cool idea.
Right.
I got 4 episodes in and I was like, I don't know. I think if you grew up with it, maybe it's good. Yeah. But I know.
Well, I definitely didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up with X-Files. I watched it later. We watched the whole series. I'm pretty sure it's one of the few series that I sit down and binge watched. Really? I never do that stuff. I never do that. But that was one of them.
So I should do that. I should watch.
I'm
X-Files.
really hard to. I'm like the pickiest person in the world when it comes to movies, and for some reason that one got me. I guess because it's just I'm interested in that kind of stuff, and it seems pretty. And it's 90s. The 90s were like peak entertainment.
That's just because that's when we grew up.
I don't care. It's the truth. I mean, I get it.
Listen, to me, the 90s was the golden age of film. Like, it really was. It was right before we switched to digital.
Right.
And we had peaked with the technology of shooting
Special
on film.
effects were just...
Yeah. They were starting to use CG, but it was small enough that they were able to blend it into real effects. And so, that was some great films in the 90s. Yeah, it really was. I think it was the golden age. But it really was. But yeah, we switched to digital and kind of all went downhill.
Here's a... I know this is way off topic, but I don't care. We're like way off topic anyway.
This is an
but I like this.
Off topic.
I like this. I like this stuff. So, film versus digital. I mean, there is a difference.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's noticeable.
Absolutely.
And it really makes a difference.
Oh, for sure. Well, it makes it okay. Yes, visually, it makes a difference, right? Like I think Spielberg talked about how it's like millions of little dancing pieces of grain create like an actual living image, right? And so there is part of that, the visual part, the aesthetic part, all of that's super important. But what I think a lot of people don't think about is on the actual production side, when you're making the film, when you shoot on film, you have to plan a lot more about what you're going to shoot, because you can't just show up like with a digital camera and just shoot a million things in a million different angles and then you'll figure it out later. That's what they do now. And that's why when you watch TV shows now, there's a million fast cuts because they've got so many pretty looking angles and we want to use all of them, because they all look good. But with film, you really had to pick. Like, you really had to make the decision. We're only going to shoot these two angles. And the sets moved slower and they were more meticulous and they had to think about what they're doing, because every time you hit record, you're spending money. And actors were more on target because there's just something magical about when that film starts rolling, they just nail it, And,
but
and things aren't perfect on film because they just shot
here's the
stuff.
Hypocrisy. Here's the hypocrisy of that, though.
All right.
We wouldn't be doing this right now if we had to use film.
No, I know. Yeah. If we had to use film, or even if we're using analog tape.
Yeah, for recording.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's so many benefits, right? It makes the entry level a lot easier, right? You can become a filmmaker with a DSLR now.
Yeah, there would be no podcasts, I think, if we were still using tape.
Right.
I guarantee you.
So yes, there are good things about it. I mean, it's like, I like the luxuries of technology, right?
Oh yeah.
I like the new TVs and I like, whatever else like that we have now.
I am not anti-technology. I'm not.
But if you can afford it, if you're someone like Tarantino, or if you're doing music like Jack White and you're able to afford to do it the old way, I do think it makes a huge difference. And yeah,
definitely.
And the art that comes out of it is better.
And something about analog is better. I think that digital media has proven that.
Yeah. I wonder too, if we do ever like talk about ghosts or something like that, if that's a conversation like using the
I would definitely like to
analog audio recorders, like maybe you get more whatever. I know
it's a big debate, but I think the debate goes the opposite direction. I think the debate goes that more EVPs, or electronic voice phenomenons, have been caught on digital recorders and they've been caught on analog recorders.
But is that just because they've recorded more with digital?
I think that technology, for instance, if you were going, say you're ghost hunting in the 80s or 90s, to take a quality audio to take quality audio equipment back then would have been big and super bulky, and so to take a little tape recorder with a really goofy mic that sounds bad was just simpler.
Right. Yeah.
So now you got your iPhone, which probably has a better mic than, the best mic in the 90s,
Maybe not that.
I'm just saying, the iPhone and any other phone, certainly is a much better quality than the regular consumer products.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Than the 2000s, or whatever, So
right.
I mean, if you took like honestly, you could probably get just as good quality with the SM58 as you could with your iPhone mic, if you're recording.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, but the really nice microphones they're using in the 90s are the same microphones they were using in the 60s and 50s.
You're right.
You're
right about that.
Same with film. They were still using
I'm saying
the same lenses.
Those mics were still like super expensive though. So
right.
The average ghost hunter couldn't
consumer,
take that. Couldn't go out and buy that and then take a, quality tape recorder with them, to get anything out of it.
True.
So
that's very true.
Your iPhone, that's what I'm saying. Now there's equipment you can buy, the Zoom recorders and all that stuff, which I know they all use,
right.
Are great. They're good. Yeah. They're good quality stuff. So let's close it out here, Zach. We're at 2 minutes left.
Nice.
So, give the email.
Yes. Okay. The email is backyardphenomenapodcast@gmail.com.
And again, thank you all for tuning in. Tune in every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on Pirate Flag Radio, WPFR, to hear it first, the audio. And then at 9 o'clock, right after the radio broadcast, the premiere of the episode will come on YouTube and Spotify.
9 o'clock Eastern.
Eastern time, yes.
Yeah.
8 Central.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, please send us your stuff. We'd love to hear from you. We're still working on getting some guests in here, so we look forward to that, and we'll have some good quality podcasting for you. Still to come.
Good quality, still to come. Not there yet, but we're almost there. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, for sure.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you.